Well, welcome to Ric's Corner. I'm in a new studio today. It's actually my son's. We built it for him for his music, and it's nice and cool in here, and I absolutely love it. But on Ric's Corner today, I want to answer some questions because I get asked all the time, hey Ric, how did you get into bodybuilding? What made you decide to become a bodybuilder? Well, there's many factors. There's many factors why all of us get into it. Probably some of it is an insecurity. Some of it's an ego. Some of it's we look in the mirror and we think we don't want to look like we do, or we see a guy in the magazine and we want to be like that, and that's probably one of the biggest things. But going back in time in junior high school or high school, I was just 148 pounds, 140 pounds. I was very lean, and I was a guitar player, like you see here, the guitars, in a rock band in high school. Very successful, had the top band around, won the Battle of the Bands at the Hollywood Palladium in Hollywood, got a recording deal with Capitol Records as a lead guitarist, and I thought that was going to be my thing. But along came a girl. Yes, along came a girl. And she was a year older than me. She was a senior, I was a junior. She was a cheerleader, homecoming queen, captain of the swim team, in awesome shape. And she liked me the way I was. But she lived with two cousins and an aunt and uncle, and the two cousins were football players, which I wasn't because, like I said, I was a guitar player. I played for the dances after the games when everybody would come in and dance, and then I'm on stage, so I basically had my pick of the girls anyway. Didn't have to play football to get them. I had my guitar, and no strings attached. Make a long story short. Anyway, we started dating, and I started training with her two cousins. They were training for football, and I just wanted to work out with the weights. Well, I saw progress right away. I mean, I really started to develop. And this is before drugs, steroids, none of that stuff. In fact, I didn't know anything about diet. I ate orange juice bars and drank milk and ate spaghetti and that kind of thing. But in a short period of time, I noticed a lot of muscle coming on. I mean, I had abs. I was working abs every day. I started to get pecs. My arms started to swell up, like they say. They got swollen arms. That's such a bad term. And she looked at me one day and she says, Ric, she says, you know, you're getting awfully lumpy. Isn't that the purpose of bodybuilding, to get muscle and get lumpy muscles? She says, I don't know if I like it. I said, well, I like it. And maybe I was attracting too much attention, but women get a little put off when you look better than they do, and then you start getting more attention than they do. Well, I didn't let that stop me. I said, I don't care. I'm going to still train. So I took it to another level, and I joined the YMCA. Now, back then, the YMCA gyms were horrible, horrible. They had broken cables, and the weights were all bent, and the bench press bar had a big curve in it. When you'd bench it, it'd swivel on you. The weights would fall off the sides. They didn't have Olympic bars. The dumbbells were broken half. You had to put them together to use them. You basically had to put your weights together like the old York barbell sets. You put them on, you put a collar on it, and you do dumbbell curls. And you had to change them with the next set. Pain in the ass. But I don't care. I wanted to do it, and I trained, and that's what I did. She moved to college, San Jose State. I became a senior. I still played in my band. I worked out 3 or 4 days a week. I went in the evening or after school, and I made it a priority. I said, this is what I want to do. As the years moved on, out of high school and college, I went into the Army for a while. I didn't get a chance to work out there, but I did hit a gym a couple of times, but they just don't let you do it, so you don't. The minute I got out, I got back to the gym again, started training again. I think I went back to the YMCA again because it was cheap. And then I found a gym across town that was called Babe's Gym. It was like a regular weight gym. I mean, it was a nice gym, and it was expensive. And I asked the guy if I could trade something to membership. And he said, yeah, I just sweep up every day, and you can have free membership, which I did. Then after that, it just became free. I did my first 400 bench press there. First 300 bench press, I'm sorry. And then I finally did a 400 bench press. And I was curling with 65-pound dumbbells, and I was training every day. Living at home with my mom. My father had passed away. And the owner of the gym used to laugh at me because he says, your mom's calling. She's got dinner on the table at 7 o'clock. I said, tell her I'll be there shortly. I got home at 8:15. I had to work out. I mean, it's just something that you saw that you did, and you saw the results, and you just kept going for it. Now, going back in time, people that I was in school with would look at me and they'd say, well, why do you want to do this? Why can't you just be normal like us? Why do you have to do this? You know that muscle's going to turn to fat one day. I said, no, it's not going to turn to fat because muscle doesn't turn to fat. Fat turns to fat. Muscle could atrophy and get smaller, but it definitely does not turn to fat. But these were people that were envious and wanted to bring me to their level because they'd want to see me succeed in what I was doing. Well, I still trained, and I still trained. And then I joined another gym, which was more like a universal health spa, and I got a job there 3 days a week. And I trained on the job. And, of course, the owner of the gym was like a Jack LaLanne gym. They wanted me to put people on a standard routine that came in. Everybody has the same routine. This is it, 2 sets, 2 sets, 2 sets. And I said, this isn't going to work for everybody. You can't tell everybody to train like that. Everybody needs an individual program. So I took it upon myself to do it. And of course, the management got mad at me, and I said, I don't care. These people are getting results, and this is what they need, and this is what I do. It only inspired me to train harder and to share the knowledge I had that I was learning, because I saw results in all the people that trained under me. Well, okay, I trained there for, I worked there for a year and a half, and I had gotten myself into professional wrestling, as most of you know. And I started wrestling a couple of nights a week, still made my home in Bakersfield. I'd go to the Olympic Auditorium, come home, go to Fresno, wrestle, come home, go back to the gym and train. And this went on. Well, I was one of the only guys in town that developed a body. And to this day, going back in time, there was no one there that ever did it after I did it. The guys that did work out with me quit training. And I had one of my friends tell me, I quit training in 1969. When you moved out of here, I lost my enthusiasm. I guess when I left, I took the enthusiasm with me. But after I thought it for a while, and I decided to move to L.A., and I got down to, I moved to Torrance, worked for Kellogg Cereal as a salesman, which is not what I wanted to do, but it got me a car, it got me a company car, it got me a job, it got me a monthly check, and I was able to live. I took that job, and I looked for a gym, and I went to the YMCA in Long Beach, which I did not like. I went to the gym where I live, I did not like it, and I thought, well, I'm going to go to a different gym. So I went to Bill Pearl's, because Bill Pearl was everybody's idol back then. The guy was huge, he was Mr. America, and that's the place to train. It was in Inglewood, and not a very good area, but the gym was hardcore, and I liked it. So it brought me among people that were competing, and the guys in the magazines weren't there. They were over at Gold's, but I wasn't ready to go to Gold's yet. I wasn't even sure where it was. But the inspiration of seeing progress through the years and my body change, and knowing that the diet controlled it to a certain effect, well, quite a bit actually, and that discipline worked into it, which I had, kept me going in bodybuilding. I mean, it really opened a lot of doors. Everywhere I'd go, people would come and talk to me about my body, and what do you do for it? And, well, you're in great shape. And it was an introductory for meeting people. And for a lot of you guys that do that, make sure that when people do approach you, approach them back in a nice manner. If you can be a gentleman and be kind and be humble, all the better. Because if you come off with an attitude, because I'm big and look at me and look at my lat spread when I walk, it's a turnoff, and people don't like it. And I made sure never to do that. I see guys, they're always walking around with sleeveless shirts and their lats spread and their arms flexed, trying to get attention. Back in the day with Arnold and Draper, all of us guys, nobody walked like that. Everybody wore oversized shirts, and they didn't try to play it up, because it just doesn't look right.